Coming up on today's show, we will talk about the possibility of the Seattle Seahawks trading for Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. We got a very interesting rumor and trade idea to get to. It is wild, folks. We'll examine all of that and more coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do that, though, folks, all month long here at Chat Sports, we are battling our other NFL channels to see who can get the most subscribers for the month of June. And I have some very unfortunate news. Seahawks today, we are not in the top 10. We need your help to get in the top 10 of new subscribers here on the channel. Here's the rankings. You can see Eagles now and the 49ers report leading the way. Steelers talk behind. The Vikings channel, Patriots, Giants, Bears, Cowboys, Broncos, Raiders, all leading the charge there. We want to break the mold, get in the top 10. So do your part. Subscribe now to Seahawks Today for the latest happenings on your favorite team all off season long. Daily news and rumors, 2 live shows a week, Q&A mailbags, breaking news and more. Subscribe now. Join the family. You'll be glad you did. Could Dak Prescott be on his way to Seattle? The folks at Gridiron Heroics are suggesting that the Seahawks trade for the Dallas Cowboys QB. And they're not the first ones to bring this up. Before y'all come after my throat and say, well, here's Tyler again, just making up stuff. This was actually brought up by Bleacher Report a couple days ago. Now Gridiron Heroics is talking about this, and it continues to go on and on. Let's dive into what they had to say specifically about this. It doesn't specify the compensation the Dallas Cowboys would get in return for Prescott, but if the Seahawks truly made a move for him as their new franchise QB, a package involving Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf and a future first-round pick would make sense. No, it absolutely does not make sense for a trade for Dak Prescott for a number of reasons. Let's go by these one by one. Number one, if you trade for Dak right now, what the hell happens with Geno Smith and Sam Howell? In that trade deal, and we'll show you here in just a second, it didn't involve Geno Smith. It didn't involve Sam Howell. So in theory, you're going to keep all of them within the quarterback room? That doesn't make sense. If you brought in Dak and moved on from either Lockett or DK and kept all those quarterbacks around, morale in the locker room would be very toxic, okay? No matter how much better Dak potentially makes you, the idea of team chemistry would just be out the window at that point. That wouldn't be a good recipe for success if you were to do that as is. And then you think about this, okay? If you're the Seattle Seahawks, why would you add a quarterback but give up one of your top wide receivers? Isn't that part of what makes this Seahawks team so intriguing? Isn't that one of the strengths of this Seattle Seahawks roster is their wide receiver room? And I'm going to weaken that by bringing in a quarterback? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then Dallas's standpoint, from the Cowboys' perspective. If the Dallas Cowboys cannot pay Dak Prescott, which is the big reason why that they would be trading Dak, because they don't want to pay him the $60 million or whatever, why would they want to then pay DK Metcalf but not pay Dak Prescott? That doesn't add up either. There's way too many red flags on this. Here's the idea that Gridiron Heroics threw out there. Cowboys give up Dak Prescott. He goes to Seattle. And then Dallas receives either Lockett or DK. And then multiple future first-round picks. I just don't see it happening. Now, I'll say this, though. Dak very well may be the Seahawks starting quarterback someday. Maybe even as early as 2025. I very well could see that happening, where the Seahawks sign Dak as a free agent next offseason. If the Cowboys can't pay him, let him walk in free agency. Seattle is going to be one of the teams that people mention as a possible free agent destination for Dak. But they aren't trading for him right now. It just doesn't make sense to make this team worse right now to bring in Dak. Wait a bit, see how things play out, and then we can have this discussion next year without having to give up DK or Tyler Lockett or multiple first-round picks and still pay him that $60 million potentially. We'll dive into that free agent possibility in a moment, but want to hear you guys first. Should the Seahawks trade for Dak Prescott? Type HY for hell yes, HN for hell no. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Now, let's say this, all right? I am totally opposed to the idea of trading for Dak right now. But if we're looking into the future, into 2025 and beyond, Dak is worth a look in the free agent market next year in 2025. He's not worth mentioning right now to trade for, but down the road, we can have this conversation about potentially signing Dak in free agency next offseason. Dak, a three-time Pro Bowler, led the NFL in touchdown passes last year. Former Walter Payton Man of the Year, was the offensive Rookie of the Year back in 2016. He's coming off the best season of his career there with the Dallas Cowboys. And if you talk about all the problems in Dallas, from Mike McCarthy to Jerry Jones and others, I know Dak hasn't got the job done and won the big game, but he's not the number one reason. He's not the number two reason. He's not the number three reason why they haven't been able to get the job done. Dak is more than capable. You could win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott. He is at the very least a top 10 quarterback, a franchise quarterback in this league. You look at the statistics last year, he was fantastic. Over 4,500 yards, 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, a completion percentage near 70%. Dak is right now in the prime of his career. Now, I'll say this, when it comes to free agency, though, Dak wants about $60 million, okay? He is looking to be the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League next offseason. At the moment, the Seahawks do not have that money. That could change, but they don't have $60 million to give away to Dak at the moment. Jordan Schultz of Bleacher Report put this out in regards to the money situation involving Dak just several days ago. He said the following: Trevor Lawrence getting $55 million per year just reassures that Dak Prescott will become the NFL's first $60 million per year player, whether it's from Dallas or a new team when he becomes a free agent next year, as I've said for months. Right now, the Seahawks cap space is about $20.4 million for 2025. Now, there will be more money coming. If you were to bring in Dak, for example, then you're not going to take the $38 million cap hit from Geno Smith. I highly doubt the Seahawks are going to take on the $30 million cap hit from Tyler Lockett as well. So there is money to be found potentially next year. But at the moment, this moment in time, the money's just not there for Seattle. They'd have to move some cash in order to make this work. $60 million. Here's a question I have for you. Whether it's Seattle or Dallas or anyone else in the National Football League, is Dak worth $60 million? Is he worth giving that type of money to? Is Dak good enough for $60 million? That's the question that the Seahawks and several other teams around the National Football League will have to ask themselves next offseason. What do you guys think? Y for yes, N for no. Byron Murphy jerseys on sale now. He'll be wearing the number 91, so just add a 9 to that one there and get yours today at chatsports.com/Murphy. We got the home jersey, got the road jersey, the throwback alternate uniform as well, men's and women's options, all sorts of different shapes and sizes for you. And we have free shipping available as well. Go see for yourself. Chatsports.com/Murphy. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Byron Murphy jerseys on sale now with free shipping. Chatsports.com/Murphy. Now, we're a long ways off from this happening, of Dak being a member of the Seattle Seahawks. But if it does, here's the plus side if you're the Seattle Seahawks here, okay? You are guaranteeing that you are a contender in the NFC if Dak Prescott is your quarterback in 2025. All right? That's the difference he makes. If you pay him $60 million, if you move heaven and earth to make it happen, you are guaranteeing yourselves a seat at the table, a seat that Seattle doesn't have at the moment. Right now, the Seahawks are hoping just to be a playoff team. You add Dak into the mix, all of a sudden, this Seahawks team has a realistic shot to compete for the NFC title next year. And think about this. Here's the key players that we know for certain at this point in time are going to be in a Seahawks uniform in 2025. DK Metcalf is going to be back. He'll have a new contract here soon. Leonard Williams has a new deal. Devin Witherspoon, of course, he'll be in his third year in the NFL. Rick Woolen is going to be back, and I have high hopes for him that he's going to have a nice bounce-back season this year. JSN is going to be back next year. I think JSN is going to be fantastic, and his future is very bright. Boye Mafe is going to be back in 2025. He's coming off a season where he led the Seahawks in sacks. Byron Murphy would be in his second year in Seattle after what I think is going to be a very good rookie campaign. Your running backs are still going to be there. Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet are maybe the best young running back duo in football. And then, on top of that, you got Julian Love as well, who is coming off a Pro Bowl campaign. I think he's going to get an extension pretty soon. You'll have, at the very least, these 10 guys and a few others for certain back in 2025. Simple point. The foundation is set for Seattle, right? John Schneider has been putting in the work over the last couple of years to put the bricks down to get this Seahawks team where they want to be. The foundation is there. The Seahawks have the coach now. I think that they upgraded from Pete Carroll with Mike McDonald. They have their coach for the long term. Now the next step is finding the quarterback, finding the long-term solution. And the long-term solution is not Geno Smith. It's not Sam Howell. Those guys are not good enough to get you to the NFC Championship game. Let's be honest here. Dak Prescott, he is a needle mover. He can be the guy to get you over the edge potentially if you want to go that route. Who will be the Seahawks starting quarterback in 2025? Will it be Dak? Will it be Geno? Will it be Sam Howell? Will it be Kirk Cousins? Will it be a rookie? Weigh in the comment section. Tell us what you think. Subscribe now to Seahawks Today for continuing off-season coverage. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Help us win this sub-battle among all of our Chat Sports channels. Subscribe now for free, and we'll see you next time.